Greetings, planet Earth. I am Sonic Nova, and this is your brand new favorite TV show, Nova 3 AM, where you get to listen to some really goofy dude named Sonic Nova talk about making comic books, oil paintings, costumes, collecting comic books, collecting toys, antiques, all types of weird stuff, just rambling about life, you name it. We are all here to have some fun. I'd like to give you a quick introduction of who I am. I am Sonic Nova. I'm from the city of Troy City, Massachusetts. I am 44. I've been making comic books on my own my whole life, being a self-taught creator. I am also an oil painter. This is one of my paintings. It is called New Bedford, which is a neighbor city of Troy City. We have Moby Dick holding the baby Frederick Douglass, because that's what New Bedford is. I was born in 1976. One of the first comic books I ever saw in my life was this Treasury edition. I'll get it out of the bag so it doesn't have that shine. It was a sensational Spider-Man Bob Budinsky cover, but Ross Andrew artwork inside that made me fall in love with comic books. Make sure you can see that well. One of those classic comics. If you have it, then you know how great it was. Giant size. Made me love funny books. When I was in, and also one of the first comic books I owned was this Jack Kirby classic, Captain America, Madman, It Can Destroy the World. This comic book changed my life. Made me love Captain America, Jack Kirby, comic books in general, being a superhero. When I was in first grade, I bought this comic book off the spinning rack at Switey's Variety with some change I found in the couch. It is Captain America 284, and it's an art. The cover art is by Mike Zeck, and this is the book that inspired me to be a comic book artist. When I saw it, I said, I'm going to do exactly what that guy does. I'm going to make comic books. I'm going to draw comic books, and that's what I've been doing ever since. When I was in 7th grade, I discovered, actually I'm going to say 6th grade, I discovered this comic book. It was around when the Turtles were popular and everyone was getting into independent comic books. I saw this book on the shelf, Flaming Carrot Comics, issue 11. This book changed my life. I love this comic book so much, I have it tattooed on my arm with the other guy in the back. So just so you can check that out right now. Must be a pretty good comic book. And it made this book, I love it because it made me realize that someone can make comic books on their own. They don't have to work for the big industry. They can just put the things out themselves. So I started doing that. Around maybe 6th, 7th grade, I drew a bunch of goofy comic books. In high school, I started making a book called Robot Comics, which became The Big Mess, and it was full of robots. And that's about 25 years now. I would make various different small comic books. Some of the more organized ones I made were finally called Troy City Comics issues 1 and 2. I was making them at the fold over size. They were tiny, but they worked. Make it happen. Little fold over type and paper size. And then I also made a book called Victory Mullet in the same way. And then I went online and discovered that there's a such thing as self-publishing companies out there which can help you out if you want to make these books. They can print one book if you want to just see how it looks. They can print 100 books, 1,000 books, any number you want. So I started going through those companies, and I made my first real comic book, Troy City Comics. And it was a goal that I had from way back when, making my own comic book. So I did that. I followed it with Troy City Comics issue 2. Came out sometime after that, where I finally, little cool back covers. Gotta check these out. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, that's Chris Bliss, by the way, who inspired me to set up this page. So we got some cool covers, and I tend to make some pretty wild looking comic books, so you can check them out really quick. I'm making this on a phone, that's why it looks so weird. But yep, I make funny books, And I also make Victory Mullet, one of the greatest comic books of all time. And I'm not saying I make the best books out there, but my goal is to make the best comic book you've ever read. So what is this channel that I have? It's called Sonic Nova. Nova, 3 a.m. Because I usually make these videos at 3 a.m. when I'm working on a comic book. I'm not saying I make comic books the correct way. I just make them my way. There's a right way, the wrong way, and the Sonic Nova way. That's how I live. So I'm going to give you advice on how I make the comic book. Maybe it's going to help you out. Who knows? I am working on the latest book right now. The way I made this book is I drew... This is going to be Troy City issue 4. We just saw issues 1, 2, and Victory Mount was issue 3. This will be Troy City issue 4, Troy City 2022. And what I did was, I illustrated the entire book so far in a sketchbook. I decided to start drawing at page size. I will actually trace the backboard and draw at that size, which everyone's going to say is a terrible idea, but it's really difficult to get a 10 by 15 page to fit on a scanner. So I draw a normal size. I try to make basic details in each panel, and I use the whole book to tell the story. You'll see how I do it in future issues. What I do is I drew the whole book at sketchbook size, and I use a light table to transfer each sketchbook page into a Bristol board page, and then I ink it from there. So I'm working my way through this book, and with these videos you're going to see how I've been doing it, and maybe you're going to catch a cool little bit of advice and say, hey, I could use that advice. And maybe I'll just inspire you to make some funny books too. So watch all the videos, subscribe, and tell all your friends. Sonic Nova, 3 a.m. Live the dream. There's those who live the dream. There's those who live to dream. And there's those who live the dream. Get to work.